to a new episode of Lilo and Stitches. I'm your host, Chris. Jen's not with me today, so I wanted to see if I could do this solo. So today, what I want to talk to you about is saving money on a Disney trip. We've been getting a lot of comments from folks who are talking about their upcoming trips, and obviously wanted to give you an idea of some ways to save money. Now, things are a little bit different nowadays in terms of saving money. So I've tried to kind of keep these tips to the way things are right now. I may mention some things that aren't going on right now, but may eventually come back. So, and then on top of that, we've seen a lot of comments about bigger folks going to Disney and who've been afraid to go, and our videos have really helped them kind of come to the decision to go ahead and go. So what we're going to do is, starting with our next video, I think we're going to do a video for each of the parks and kind of really walk through what it's like for people like us, bigger people, in that individual park. So we'll spend time actually on the one park at a time, going over all the different rides, turnstiles, dining options, things like that, and give you an idea of like our size, pant size, shirt size, things like that. So you kind of really understand what it might mean for you. And to put you at ease that it is so much fun to go to Disney, even if you're a bigger person, you're going to have a blast. So we'll be talking about that in the upcoming videos, particularly starting our next video. But today I want to talk to you about saving money. So obviously a Disney trip is a big expense. There's people who save for years to go to a Disney park, stay at a Disney resort, eat Disney food, and do all those things that are Disney. Overseas travelers, it's like a 5-year, 10-year thing, sometimes once in a lifetime. Since we've got the Disney bug, we go a lot. And one of the things that we like is the all-inclusiveness of the trips that we've done. So when Disney was offering the dining package, which they're not doing right now, but hopefully they will again in the future, you could prepay for essentially what were dining credits that would use at some of at many of the Disney restaurants. And it was included in your package. So you would have a hotel, you would have tickets, and you would have dining. So you could get the dining package if you're staying at a Disney hotel. Great for feeling that all-inclusive trip. For folks who don't eat a lot of food, there was different options from just a couple of quick serve meals a day to the one we always chose, which was 3 tables, sit-down meals, a couple of snacks a day, because part of the Disney experience for us was food, going to restaurants we would never go to, eating at a place that charges $60 for a steak when there's no way I'm going to pay that when I'm back home. So those are some of the things that we did during our trips. And so obviously the things that you can add to a trip only add to the cost. So what I want to talk about first is things like tickets, right? So tickets is probably going to be one of your bigger expenses when it comes to the parks. So there's a number of ways to save money at Disney, particularly with park tickets. So for example, buying your Disney park tickets directly from Disney. So going to disneyworld.com and buying your tickets. The longer you stay, the cheaper the tickets get. So if you're staying for 10 days, you're going to pay a lot less per day than if you bought the tickets elsewhere or only went for 1 day. Obviously, staying for 10 days can get quite expensive. So what I've done is I'm going to give you some idea of pricing based off of a 5-day trip. Right? So that might be, 5 nights and 5 days. It might be 6 nights and 5 days. But at the end of the day, the tickets are for 5 days, right? So 5 park days. And they're base tickets. There's not a park hopper included in this price. Park hopper generally costs about $75 on top of the park ticket. So I'll give you an idea. So if you buy tickets from Disney for a 5-day stay, you're looking at about $106.50 with tax. There's a number of ways that you can even cut that down a little bit more. If you're retired military, if you're military active duty, if you're DoD civilian, you can usually save quite a bit of money and buy your tickets on base. So for about $86 a day, you can buy your tickets on base. Now, the thing about ticket pricing right now is Disney has it based on days. So if you go in June and you buy your park tickets on starting and you want to attend the park on a Saturday, then your park price your ticket price might be $96 or $100 instead of $86. So that's going to factor into your price for your ticket, right? So roughly about $450 to $500 for a 5-day ticket. Now, um, one of the great things Disney's doing so for active duty and for retired military, Coast Guard, and National Oceanographic Atmospheric Administration folks, I think, too. They have military salute. And military salute, um, and that's actually for active duty only. I'm sorry about that. Military salute is a max of 6 tickets, um, and it's as low as $61 a day per ticket. Right, so that's pretty cheap, and you can, get those tickets. Head over to Disney. You can add Park Hopper to those if you want. It's like $29 additional, but that's a great deal for some park tickets. So I think it comes out to like 350, 309, something like that a day. So it's a really good deal. Um, at Disney World, there's actually a place called Shades of Green. Shades of Green is unique in that it's the only continental U.S. Um, Department of Defense recreation and relaxation location. It's a resort that's on Disney property. It's directly near the Magic Kingdom and Grand Floridian Resort, and it's open only to DoD civilians and military. And the resort actually sells tickets, and one of the special tickets that they sell there is something called Stars and Stripes. So Stars and Stripes is open to all DoD civilian, military, retired, active duty. But the Stars and Stripe tickets come out to about $101 a day if you buy them at Shades of Green. You can buy them online, call Shades of Green. You can buy them when you're at Disney. You'll drive over to Shades of Green. If you have an ID to get into Shades of Green, you can drive over there. Cat card, something like that will work. So if you get your tickets there, it's good for not just Shades of Green, but if you're staying at any Disney hotel, then you can buy those tickets. You can buy Stars and Stripes tickets. Um, a few discounted sites that I've actually used, and the tickets can vary in price. Undercover Tourists, Orlando Fun Tickets, and Tripster. The prices range anywhere from $102 to about $103 and a half per day for tickets for a 5-day ticket in June, starting on a Sunday. So you're paying higher because it's a summertime. Kids are out of school, so they're going to charge you more, right? So that's what you'll pay for tickets. Now, the tickets, as you can see, the prices can range significantly, but you can save a lot of money by if you have a military connection. If you're a military person or a DoD civilian, you can buy them. Unfortunately, you can't have military or DoD civilians buy them for you and you go because they have to be there to use the ticket with you. But certainly do check out some of the discounted sites because they do save you some money, and they do sometimes have specials that you can check out. So all in all, for a 5-day, you're probably looking at about anywhere from 450 to 530 for a 5-day ticket per adult. Now remember, Disney considers any 10-year-old and above an adult. The ticket prices for 3-year-old to 9-year-old is only a difference of maybe $10, I think. So you're not saving a whole lot on kids tickets. Sometimes Disney will run specials on tickets, so just keep an eye on DisneyWorld.com for that kind of stuff. So getting tickets out of the way, the other thing is hotels, right? So hotels can be one of your most expensive things depending on where you're staying. I love Disney hotels. I love the amenities at Disney hotels. I love the pools. Just the atmosphere at Disney hotels is unique because it's Disney, right? So the cast members there go out of their way to help you. They go out of their way to make you feel special, make your visit magical. And you don't really get that outside of Disney hotels. And so it's something that I love and value about Disney hotels, and I'm always valued that. Now, obviously, staying at a Disney hotel comes with its own higher cost. Disney now charges parking that ranges anywhere from, I believe, $13 to $22 a night for staying at their hotels. If you stay at a Disney hotel, you then don't have to pay for parking at the park. So if you drive your own vehicle or you get a rental car, you're going to pay for parking at the hotel, but you don't have to pay for parking at the park. So that's kind of a trade off that you get there. Now, in terms of cost, right now for the summertime, mid June, for Sunday night to Friday night, so what is that? 5 nights. So 5 nights, 5 day ticket. You're looking at about $158 for a value resort. And the value resorts are like, I don't want to say they're motels because that's definitely not it. But in terms of like room size and amenities in the room, you're looking like comfort suites kind of hotel room, right? You're getting 2 queen beds, TV, dressers, smallish bathroom that has got a small tub and a shower, and a coffee maker, and that's about it, right? Um, there's definitely storage for your clothes. A lot of the rooms have been refurbished, so what Disney's done in a lot of the rooms is there's underbed storage, so you can really slide your suitcases actually under the bed and store them there. And the rooms are generally about 2 queens or 1 king. There's usually a little table and a chair or two that you can sit at and eat food. Some of the value rooms actually have, so most of those rooms will sleep four. Some of the value rooms actually will have a fifth sleeper, and it's usually like there's like a bench that you can sit on underneath the TV, and that pulls down into like a pull down bed. And so that's usually good for your children, under like 12. Anything over that and it's kind of too small, think of it like a twin size bed that pulls down. So it's great for kids because they're usually themed. So if you're a family of five, you can usually find some of those at the value resorts. The next step up for the value resorts are the moderate resorts, and the Disney moderate resorts have more amenities, right? So the value resorts have a themed pool, a major themed pool. They have quiet pools. They have a main building with dining hall. They have different types of entertainment and things like that going on. So it's great. Moderates are a little bit the same, but they add some. Many of the moderates will have things like a water slide. You won't have that at a value resort. They'll have the dining hall, and then they'll have like a sit down restaurant. So many of the moderates will have that. They may have a lounge. So they're just a little bit more upscale. Great hotels. The value hotels tend to be really overly themed Disney, so lots of cartoonish Disney theming. So it's fantastic for little kids who want to be immersed in it. Art of Animation is a fantastic resort. Pop Century, the All Star movies, and all the All Star resorts are great. And then you get in the moderates, and the Disney theming is more muted, but still there, very much still there. You'll see it in the rooms, but it's not as outspoken as much as it is at the value resorts. And right now, for a moderate resort, you're looking at about $200 a night. And they're great rooms. They're fantastic locations, beautiful views, great amenities, and again, 2 queen beds. Some of the rooms will have a fifth sleeper, so you have a pull down. So for a family of five, that's great as long as your kids can share beds. Um, if your kids can't share beds, then a 2 bedroom is not going to do it for you. You might actually be better off getting 2 value rooms, and paying the $316 for 2 value rooms than trying to figure out how to cram everybody into 2 beds. Um, Up from that is the deluxe resorts, and these are the resorts that have fantastic pools with water slides, sometimes more than one water slide. Sit down restaurants, signature restaurants, like great places for steak, lounges and bars. They're just really awesome hotels. Again, the Disney theming is still there. It's more muted than you see at the value resorts. And then you have like the DVCs and the villas. And those are where you have like 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, grand villas. So these are things that can really sleep families. Now, the thing about that though is a couple of value resorts like the All Star movies and Art of Animation have family suites, and those are where there's a king bed in one room, and the living room has a pull-out couch and a pull-out chair. And so you can sleep a family comfortably in those rooms, and they have a little kitchenette and stuff like that. They're a little bit more expensive, so you're looking at like $350 a night for those. But in terms of the deluxes and the deluxes start out at about $300 a night, and the closer you get to the Magic Kingdom, the higher the prices go, right? So near Disney Springs, Saratoga Springs, you're looking at about $300 a night. But when you get to like the Grand Floridian, you're talking about $500 a night, and that's for one of their basic, double queen bed rooms. Really upscale rooms, great resort, fantastic grounds on the lake. So you get the kind of the idea, and obviously there's hotels that range up to as much as $1,000 a night for like the Polynesian Resort bungalows, and those are the rooms that have like several bedrooms, and they're like a little house out on the water. You literally walk a dock to the place where you're staying. So Disney hotels, again, that's about what it breaks down to in cost. But guess what? You don't have to pay that to experience a lot of the amenities that Disney has to offer. So Disney has something called Good Neighbor hotels. And a lot of these hotels, they're like your basic, Hilton, Marriott, Choice Hotels, IHG, Intercontinental Hotel Group hotels. So if you're like a member of those discount groups, it's great because you can actually get great rates at a lot of these hotels. And some of these hotels are like in Disney Springs, so directly across from Disney Springs. Or they're in Bonnet Creek, which is kind of like on Disney property. And so for some of those hotels, in my checking, you can get rates as low as $75 a night at some of these hotels for 2 queen beds. So if you got a large family, you can get multiple rooms and still pay less than you would at a value resort. And many of these hotels have great pools, they have dining on property, things like that. Drawback is that a lot of those hotels will charge a resort fee. So it can range anywhere from $15 a day to $35 a day. The Disney hotels do not charge a resort fee, and so because of that, that maybe add additional dollar figures to your nightly total. So like in Disney Springs, you have like the Wyndham, and a lot of people when they associate Wyndham, they think Days Inn, things like that. But no, the Wyndham Garden and then the Wyndham in Disney Springs, it's 2 hotels connected. One is a lower end, so the cost is lower, but you're directly across from Disney Springs. I mean, you literally walk across the bridge from where your hotel is and you're in Disney Springs. And then the other one is like a tower, and that one has like Disney Springs views, so you can see Disney Springs at night. And that one's, a little bit more upscale, but they share the same property, and they have a really nice pool. It's huge. It's got like a waterfall and all that kind of stuff. It's got a restaurant on site, which I think is closed right now because of what's going on, but they do have food options in the lobby. But again, you're directly across from Disney Springs. And again, those prices range anywhere from $75 to $120 a night, $130 a night. You can even get Disney Springs View for $120, $130 a night. And if you're a member of the Wyndham rewards program, you can even get discounted rates. AAA, you get discounted rates. Federal employees get discounted rates. Florida state employees get discounted rates. So Good Neighbor hotels are great for another reason. You have access to some of the same benefits that that the Disney hotel folks do. You have the ability to book park reservations based off of your length of stay, as long as you have park tickets, of course. You also have access to some of the transportation options that may exist at Disney. A lot of the hotels will offer transportation to Disney Spring to the parks, so take advantage of that. Some of them are not doing it right now because of what's going on, but Disney treats these hotel guests as Disney guests in some fashion. So certainly look at those hotels, especially this Disney Springs area, because you're directly across from Disney Springs. And there's a number of ways that you can I don't want to call them Disney hacks, but there's a number of ways that you can utilize the Disney bus transportation system without staying at a Disney resort by staying in a hotel near Disney Springs. Um, Another area is the Disney Bonnet Creek area. So Bonnet Creek is a part of what looks like it's a Disney property, but it's not. It was actually carved out and purchased just before Disney bought all of their land, um, and and the owners of the property built up resort area on Bonnet Creek, and they apparently have some kind of agreement with Disney, and you can get onto Disney roadways and things like that because it's actually directly connected to all the Disney roadways. And when you're staying at the hotel, you can see the Skyliner going overhead. You cross under the Disney World sign when you go to Bonnet Creek, and Bonnet Creek's got some great hotels. It's got the Waldorf Astoria. It's got a new Hilton hotel that was built. One of the hotels that we stay at is actually a really nice resort, and it's the Wyndham Bonnet Creek Resort. It is a Wyndham timeshare, but you can actually book those rooms. So for a large family, it's a great place to stay because you can get a studio, a 1 bedroom, a 2 bedroom, a 3 bedroom. So you can go anywhere from 4 people all the way up to 12 people in a room. And a great example of this is we're planning a trip soon. I won't say when, um, but we're having extended family come with us on the trip. And before we check into our Disney Vacation Club home resort where we own, we're staying at the Wyndham Bonnet Creek, and we're getting a 3 bedroom room, and the room costs $250 a night. So when you compare that to some of the Disney hotels, I mean it's a huge discount, and we're getting a 1,500 square foot room with a full kitchen, stove, refrigerator, all and huge dining table. So for several nights, we're gonna have this resort, and it's a way for us to have the space we need and everything. But on top of that, the resort is beautiful. I mean, they have beautiful pools, several pools. They have lounges, bars, restaurants. Just near, I mean, you're literally on Disney property. So when you exit and get on the roadway, you turn left to go to Epcot, and you turn right to make your way to the Disney Springs. So there's a number of things that you can do there. They're not a good neighbor hotel at Wyndham, so unfortunately they don't have the same benefits as Disney Resort guests. But I'm okay with that, and you may be too because it's saving you a bunch of money. Um, but yeah, so if you check some of those hotels out, again, sign up for a lot of the reward programs from these hotels because you can get some pretty great rates by doing that. Another option is the Disney Swan and Dolphin and new Swan Reserve, and these are hotels that I believe it's either Marriott or Hilton who owns them. Um, you cannot miss these hotels. You can see the Swan and the Dolphin. You can see the Swan from anywhere, and you see the pyramid shape of the other one. And these hotels they're very nice hotels. I mean, they're moderate to deluxe style hotels. Prices range anywhere from 120 to 200 plus a night, depending on the room. They have great restaurants. Matter of fact, Shula Steakhouse is in one of the resorts. They have sushi places. It is a resort. It is a true resort for a non Disney resort, right? So it's a resort within a resort. And the great thing about those hotels is if you stay there, they're actually on the water that the Disney boats run to Hollywood Studios or to Epcot. So you and Hollywood Studios actually, so you can actually catch Disney Transport because Disney Transportation boats go there, and then on top of that they have buses. So it's non-Disney. You're treated like Disney. You're getting great rates, and you can take advantage of the boat, taxi, and the buses. It's a win-win. Uh, they offer tons of discounts to different groups. Military and DoD civilians and federal employees can get discounts on some of the rooms. So definitely a lot of ways you can save money on hotels. I mean, you can get a trip for a family of four, 2 kids and 2 adults, and you're talking maybe $2,800, and that's park tickets, that's the hotel and and maybe food and things like that. But there's a lot of ways to save money, and again, for a lot of people, $2,800, that is a lot of money. But and the park tickets again are going to be your biggest issue. Beyond that, I mean, there's transportation. A lot of the transportation is free. If you stay at Disney resorts, you have Magical Express right now that's going away, and that's the bus from the Orlando airport to Disney hotels. They're expecting to build a train that goes from over there to Disney. So it's kind of a wait and see what Disney's going to do, whether they're going to give you some kind of pass or make you pay for it. I'm not sure, so I'm kind of keeping an ear out to see what happens with that. Disney transport is all over Disney property, right? So if you stay in the Disney hotels, you got buses, you got boats, you got the Skyliner. If you're at a hotel that's got the Skyliner, if you're at the Disney hotels or near Magic Kingdom, you got the monorail that goes around all those Disney hotels. So there's a number of ways to get around Disney World, but staying at a Disney hotel, you have access to all that stuff, and it's free. It doesn't cost you anything to use the bus to go back and forth. So one of the things we do sometimes as a family is we'll go and the kids will go into the parks and we'll go in the parks, we'll be tired and we'll be like, you know what, let's go back to the room. And what we've done in the past is my wife and my son would go back to the room, and me and my daughter, we'd be like partying all night long because we didn't have to drive. We just catch the bus back. So as the kids get older, it's something we're going to allow them to do because they're old enough to make, my daughter's going to be is old enough to make her own decisions. So she knows right from wrong. She's got her learner's permit. So, we think she's good if she wants to go off and do her own thing. And if we bring her cousins along, then they could stay all night and come back and catch the bus back because we know they're safe. Because they're on Disney transport, and Disney is very good about that. They're not leaving that bubble that is Disney. If you're not staying at a Disney resort and you have a park hopper, you have the ability to leave the hotel, the like Magic Kingdom after 2 p.m. and head over to Hollywood Studios if it's not to capacity, and you can do that by jumping on the bus. You don't have to drive your car. Now, obviously, if Magic Kingdom closes early and you're at Hollywood Studios late, you're not going to be able to get your car because the buses stop running after a certain time. So that could be an issue. So there's just a number of ways that you can do. Obviously, you can rent a car from the airport or whatever, nearby. Again, you have to pay for parking at Disney hotels. And many of the Good Neighbor hotels, you do have to pay for parking. On the hotel front, though, outside of the Good Neighbor hotels, there's tons of hotels in the Orlando area that you can get for as cheap as like $50 a night. $40 a night. So whatever flavor hotel or motel that you prefer, trust me, you can find it. And you're within 5-10 minutes of hitting Disney property. So if you can get your tickets cheap, and you get your hotel cheap, you could be talking into the, maybe $1,800 $1,900 for your park and your stay altogether for a family of four. So it's a good deal. But yeah, so obviously one of the biggest things is food. You got to eat when you're there. I mean, you can't starve yourself. And you're walking around a lot, so you got to keep hydrated and you gotta have some energy. We Like I said before, we used to be on the dining plan all the time because we love Disney food. We love trying new restaurants and new things. So we would just make reservations all over the place and go dine to our heart's delight. The dining plan is not going on right now, so we're not able to do that. So we're a little bit more budget conscious of how much we're putting aside for food. And so when we stay at hotels, we try to stay at our home resort or another Disney Vacation Club resort that has a kitchen or a kitchenette, because what we found is if we have food in the room, we can make like breakfast or eat something quick in the morning, and then we don't have to pay for breakfast. Or if you're staying off property, find a hotel that has breakfast included and eat breakfast there, and then it's one less meal you have to pay for. The other thing is bring water. Bring your own bottles of water. Bring your own snacks. Bags of chips and things like that. You can't bring a cooler. but you can bring them in a backpack with some ice packs or whatever it is, and it's a way to save money. You can fill your the a lot of the water fountains are closed, but I believe you can still go in the bathrooms and fill your water bottle up if that's what you want to do. You don't even have to do that though, because one of the things that Disney does is that a lot of the table service restaurants, you can go up and you can ask for a cup of water, and sometimes they'll actually have a water thing outside for you to be able to get water. And that's free. They don't charge you for it. And if you're unsure of where you can get some free water, ask a cast member. The cast members will be more than willing to point you in the right direction to go get some water. Because water can be like $3.50 a bottle. Soda, you're talking like $4.50. So you're going to pay a lot of money for just fluids. Snacks can range anywhere from $3 or $4 to $6, $7. So if you bring your own snacks, that's a great thing. A great thing too is if your kids like popcorn, popcorn fills your stomach really good, right? So if you want them to hold off till dinner, buy a refillable popcorn bucket the first day, and you're gonna spend maybe $15 for that popcorn bucket, and you're like, wow, $15 for popcorn. But guess what? You're gonna be able to refill that popcorn bucket for $2 the entire stay that the entire time that you're there. So the moment the popcorn's cart opens up, fill it up, and your kids have snack as much as they want for $2. Obviously that means you need to drink more fluid, so you got to find liquid. Um, but that's one way to save some money, And then for lunch, you can easily find snack carts that are a big Mickey pretzel or fries or something that is, and the portion sizes are pretty big, so you can actually get a nice belly full of food for $6, $7. Get a turkey leg. I think it's like $11 or $12, and a turkey leg it's going to give you some protein. It's going to fill you up. And you can certainly do that. Or if you feel like if you do want to eat, head over to some of the quick serve restaurants and you can get a burger and a drink and fries for like $13, right? So obviously it's not Burger King, so you can't get a meal for $4 or $5. But it is a way to get some food. Now, if you are able to, to throw some money, a little bit of money in it, there are some places you can even save money in terms of sit down meals. And one place that I actually advocate for anybody, in terms of a sit down meal is if you love is some of the buffets, right? Some of the buffets are cheaper. Right now, Disney's doing the buffets that are open. They're doing family style. So what that means is they're giving you a plate of food on the table that everybody shares, and then they keep bringing you more, and it just prevents people from going up and touching the same utensils. Wilderness Lodge has a place called Whispering Canyons Cafe. Their breakfast is fantastic. So if you have a family who loves eggs and meat and bacon, they would love this breakfast. And waffles and biscuits and gravy, they would love this breakfast. So the breakfast is $22 a person. And it seems like a lot, but truthfully, in comparison to Disney food, it's actually a very great price. And you get all the eggs and bacon and sausage you want. On top of that, you get brisket. Brisket is fantastic. So yeah, and the brisket is great. I love the brisket. It's delicious. They offer a similar, a lunch buffet and a dinner buffet. The lunch buffet is like $24, and the dinner buffet is like $34. And it's barbecue, ribs, pulled pork, coleslaw, corn, that kind of stuff. So it's a really great deal for what you're getting. So that's obviously an option. And then obviously, if you're going to save your money till dinner, there's a lot of different places that you can go to have a great dinner and decent prices. And if you download the My Disney Experience app, you can look at all of the menus for all of the restaurants that are open right now and really kind of narrow it down. I'm a planner when it comes to Disney. I actually before the what's going on now, I used to do Excel spreadsheets and track all of our days and dining reservations and dining credits and things like that. And so I would literally figure out where does everyone want to eat. We would then list out all the restaurants we're going to eat at. We would then identify, some of the most expensive things that might be good on the menu to identify cost. And I would literally say, okay, this is how much this meal would cost. Now, on the dining plan, I wasn't paying for the meal. Well, I take that back. I paid for the dining plan, which is a cost in its own, but I would then calculate what my tip would be based off of the total price. And it was a way, so that's ultimately what I would end up putting away in the bank, was making sure I had, you know, the total amount of what I anticipate the tips to be plus like 20%, just in case I underestimated. Um, saving money for Disney World means you probably got to save money for food. Now you don't have to eat at Disney World. You can certainly leave the property, go eat at McDonald's. Just don't do it right near Disney because you're gonna be paying $7-8 for a meal versus $3 or $4 in the Orlando area. Tons of great dining options outside of Disney World. Now, we prefer to stay inside the Disney bubble because of how safe Disney has been. Disney Springs has a lot of great options for dining. Polite Pig, you can go and get like a platter of barbecue for like $50 at most, and 4 people can easily eat that. So, you're talking 10-12 bucks a person for food. Pizza, there's places to get pizza. There's a lot of that stuff in Disney Springs. The prices are actually a little bit cheaper than they are at the resorts and in the park. So definitely check that out. Um, so you can totally do snacks instead of meals. Bring your own snacks. If you find yourself at Hollywood Studios and you want to try a Ronto roaster, I totally advocate for that. I think they're delicious. I think they are one of the best things that Disney's done in terms of a quick thing to eat. But they're $13. So just so you know, if you got a family of 4, you're easily going to be paying what, um, $52 for a wrap with with coleslaw and a piece of meat and a hot dog in it. And then you add on top of that drinks, you're easily talking $75. So I definitely suggest people try it, but I wanted to throw that out there. So all in all, I mean, there's a ton of ways to save. If you have any specific questions, let me know, and I can answer the questions in the comments, and then even bring them up later on in a future video. But totally, as it relates to food, I suggest having either food in your room. Unfortunately, value resort rooms, if you're at a Disney property, don't have a refrigerator, so not like you can keep milk or yogurt or whatever in the fridge. Moderate and up do. Non Disney properties generally always have a fridge, so that's an option, and a microwave. So I certainly suggest things like bagels and cream cheese and stuff like that. If you have a kitchen, get groceries. Don't order groceries. Head over to like Walmart or the Publix or something before you check into your hotel. Get groceries, stock your fridge, and you just saved a bunch of money on food. So there's a ton of ways to save money on food, um, especially at Disney World. Um, but you're at Disney World, so you're gonna probably end up splurging on some things like a character meal. Character meals are great when they're actually going on. The current character meal setup, it's a little awkward because you don't meet the characters per se. They come by and you kind of do a selfie with them in the background. But in the future, if Disney brings back all the character meals, then I certainly advocate for character meals because it is a fantastic way to meet characters without having to stand in the line or get a fast pass to meet a character. Especially like Akershus, where you have your kids, especially little girls who want to see the princesses. That's a perfect way to see the princesses. Um, Final thing, shopping. Disney is a place you can blow so much money on shopping with so many different things, so many Disney Springs, money in the parks. You're gonna end up wanting to spend money on stuff. I don't, just because I there's not a whole lot of stuff that I want, but my kids do. So the first thing I always suggest to people is get Disney gift cards. There's a way you can save money on that though. So if you buy your gift cards either at Target or let me step back. If you buy them at like Costco or a club store, you can get them sometimes for as low as $90, 10% off. So if you buy $100 gift card, you get the $100 gift card for $90. Um, if you have a Target Red card, which is basically like a debit card that's linked to your bank account, and it's pretty safe. I've used it, and yes, Target did have an issue a few years ago, but it's pretty secure now. You save some money. So again, it's about 5%. So I save $5 for every 100. So if you can save $5 for every 100, you're saving anywhere from 25 to $50 for 500 or $1,000 worth of gift cards. That's a lot of money for gift cards, but every little percentage counts, right? But when it comes to actually spending the money at Disney, I actually suggest not buying stuff at Disney World or in Disney Springs unless there's something that you have to have that is out right now that is new. And you don't have any kind of discounts like a Disney Vacation Club or a Disney Rewards credit card or an annual pass. And that's go to the Character Warehouse. So the Disney Character Warehouse is a Disney, think of it like a Disney store. It's a discount store where Disney sends all of their park merchandise to be clearanced out. There's one in international on International Drive and one in Vineland. So I think the one in Vineland is the one that is directly outside of Disney property. So like when you go past, if you go through Disney Springs and you pass Disney Springs, there's a road once you exit the property over there, and when you cross over I-4 on that road, and you hang a left, you are then going to where the outlets are, and it's in an outlet mall. And there's one there. So again, it's Vineland is one, and then the other one is International Drive. You can save as much as 50, 60, 75% on stuff because the stuff is clearanced out. We've gone in there and the kids might have $100 gift card and they walk out with a bag full of stuff. And I'm talking like the little toy sets that normally cost $20 in the parks, $6 clothes, shirts, everything that you can think of. Now, granted, you might be there at Christmas time, or you might be there in March and you're buying Christmas merchandise, or you're buying Halloween merchandise at Christmas time. That's kind of some of the give and take of that. But beyond that, I mean, you can find almost everything. And I'm not guaranteed what you're going to find. So it's kind of like you might even try going to both. But I would suggest setting aside some time and doing that so you get your shopping done that way and save a ton of money. But if you do got to shop in Disney, then certainly it's the place to shop. There's tons of stuff. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways to save money. I hope I've given you some idea of ways to save money, especially with hotels. There's so many hotels in the Orlando area. You can save a ton of money. Tickets, the window, there for the savings there is kind of iffy. Certainly, if you're military, you got a ton. You got it made for Disney tickets. If you're going with a retiree, that's great. If you don't have a military person coming with you and you're not military, like I said, discounted sites are a good way. But ultimately, it's the longer you stay at Disney, the cheaper the tickets get. Told you, give you an idea how to save on food. So I think we're good. Like I said, we're looking forward to providing you some more content on just being a heavier person at Disney World because trust me, you can go to Disney World. I'll be honest, I'm 400 pounds and I'm a size 56 and I fit on most of the rides at Disney World. I love going to Disney World. Um, and so don't be afraid to go to Disney World. Even if you can't get on everything, it is so much fun to see my kids have a fantastic time. I still um, have a magical experience whenever I go. It's the place for me to go and forget all the bad stuff that goes on in the world, all the negative, all the issues from home, all of that stuff, and just kind of let it go. I'm comfortable going to the pool and taking my shirt off and getting in the pool. I don't ever feel judged at Disney World. I've seen people who are very big and can't walk around, and I can walk around, and I'm lucky. I'm perfectly fine. I feel healthy enough that I can walk for hours. There's some folks that can't, and so they ride around on the electric scooters and things like that, and that's perfectly fine. Nobody judges them for that. So don't think of Disney World like that. So guess what? Those videos are coming up. I'm going to help you feel a little bit better about that. But we have a lot more content coming up. We've got some trips planned. Not everybody knows about, so we got to be quiet on. We got to be on the down low a little bit about that one. And so when we do those, I'll try to give you some pictures specifically about how I fit in some of the seats and maybe how Jen fits in some of the seats. We're definitely going to talk about some more of the festivals because right now Flower and Garden's going on. That's exciting. Vaccines are going on, so hopefully things will start to get better at Disney World. I know there's going to be some openings coming up, so we'll see. Well, with that being said, I mean, I'm good. I've given you as much detail as I can. Got any questions? Ask in the comments below. Otherwise, I will see you next time. Thanks. Bye.